Hi, my name's Coor Brow-Obles, and this is behind the song for Music of the Future, and I don't know if I have to say the global TV part. So the idea of the song came from a present my partner Estelle got me for my birthday. She overheard me talking to my mate Dave about EBOs, which is like this little gadget that turns your guitar into kind of like a violin. And she thought it'd be a good idea for a present. And she wasn't wrong. This is a great piece of kit. I love it, but I've taken it to rehearsals, and people say it's a bit piercing, it's a bit screechy, which is kind of what I like about it. To be honest, like I really like sharp, high-end guitar tones. Ever since my musical awakening of Susie and the Banshees' Night Shift. Yeah, that song has these amazing guitars at the start. Just the piercing, and I first listened to it, I was like, yes, this is not how a guitar is meant to sound like. That's perfect. So as a thank you for the EBO, I made a little post on my social media because I wanted it to be cute, and also I just kind of needed content. I usually put a lot of thought into my music, like what I want to achieve and how I want this to come across, and when I do a music video, is there going to be like a push bit? Because I kind of have to do that all myself. I'm a bit of a one-man band, or as some people like to call it, a control freak. This was just a one-off piece of content, so I thought, yeah, I just stick some bits together. I grabbed a mellotron for the bass parts because I was really into Beach House at the time, and then did like a little descending arpeggio synth to be kind of like Steel Corners, because their song "The Trip" is like the best song in the world. It's perfect. And then I stuck a capo on and did my best Kevin Shields impression. There are some bits of it I really liked, and then my friend Nathan commented below, "You should turn this into a real song." So I kind of did. So this is kind of his fault. About 6 months later, it was our anniversary, and I was struggling for gift ideas. I kept trying to drop hints to her, like, what do you want? I'm not very subtle. And she'd say, "Oh, it doesn't matter as long as it comes from the heart." And I'd go, "Well, that's not helpful. Just tell me what you want." At some point, she said she's always wanted to have a song written for her or about her. I was like, "Yep, cool. That's what we'll do." Just ask and ye shall receive. Usually when I songwrite, everything's kind of separate. I just have loads of lines of lyrics just scattered about everywhere on my phone, on my laptop, in notebooks. And then when I have a good enough chord progression or little guitar riff, I'll go, okay, let's just grab some bits and put it all together. But for this song, I wanted it to be just for Estelle, because it was her present after all. So I sat down like 2 or 3 times to write lyrics, and I couldn't really think of anything. It's really hard when you just sort of sit down to do it. The inspiration's not there, and everything I wrote was just kind of forced and unnatural and cheesy, and it just weren't me. Then one night we were laying in beds, and I usually set up a little bit later because she works early and I'm a bit of a night owl. And then when you get those intrusive thoughts just sort of coming out of nowhere, I was just like, so what happens when one of us dies? Like, if she dies first, will I take it well? If I die first, is she just going to be miserable without me? And then I couldn't decide what would be worse. Would it be worse if having to live without her, or would it be worse leaving her knowing she's going to be so depressed without me? And then I thought, that's the song. Yeah, I hadn't heard of anyone doing anything quite like that. So I started typing on my phone just a couple of random lyric ideas that came to me sort of out that and just all the other thoughts that I think about while she's asleep. And then I've got the idea for the poetry section, because I really like it when musicians do a poetry section. Like, I'm big into Placebo and the Doors, and they've quite often put some parts in. So when we started dating, she used to do this thing where every time I brought her water, or if I was scratching her back or something, she would go, "Oh yeah, thank you. I pay you in 1,000 bisu." And she also had this joke where she'd go, "Have you seen the moon?" And then pull down her trousers or whatever she's wearing and show off her ass. And I thought, well, bisu and moon rhyme. Let's see what I can do with that. I thought it would break up the mushiness a little bit. I really wanted to make this like a real proper song, not just leave it as a demo, so she could feel like there is actually a song written about her. And this was a really bad idea because, one, I was already in the middle of recording an album. I'm still in the middle of recording. And two, I knew it was going to cost a lot. But I figured since it's just me doing all the parts, maybe it'd be quicker and cheaper, and get it done in a couple of sessions. And we did do it pretty quickly. Just wasn't cheap still. The only thing I couldn't do was drums, and the producer Feist would not let me use the drum machine. He hates it when I do. So I thought, well, now I need a drummer. But luckily I knew exactly who I was going to get. She's got a project which is just her and her drummer Rob. So I thought, well, let's use Rob. I'm using her present, and then I'm going to use her drummer as well. So I caught him like after one of their gigs, and I told him the whole plan, and he was like really nice and into the idea. But I said to him, "This is a present, by the way, so you got to keep it a secret from her." And he did. Like, he's a man of his word on that. But I think we looked kind of sus because Estelle would kind of come over at some point, like, what are you guys talking about? And like all the way home, she was going, "So what were you two talking about?" I'm just like, guys stuff, tits and takeaways and stuff. So I sent him the song next day. He got back to me like a week later because he was pretty busy, with like 3 or 4 drum ideas that he had, and they were pretty good. They were pretty much exactly what I wanted. It was nothing too strenuous for him, because like he is a beast of a drummer. But I think this was quite general, probably a bit boring for him. But he said he genuinely liked the songs, so that was good. And he came up with the little military bit on the bridge, the military drums, which was a really good idea. I wish I'd thought of it. Actually, cut that from the interview because now I'm going to pretend I did. We had a bit of back and forth, and we went to the studio, and he pretty much smashed it by the 3rd or 4th take. And it probably would have been the 1st or 2nd take if I had been a bit clearer about what I wanted. After his stuff was down, I went and recorded my bits. It pretty much didn't change from the demo in terms of playing. I think the only thing we really added was a bass, and Feist said some ideas about making the guitars heavier. Then it took about 2 or 3 mixing sessions, and boom, it was done. And I was really happy with it. I got really excited, and I ended up telling Estelle like a week before we got to the final mix what it was and that it was done. I kind of thought it would be a good idea to get her opinion before the final mix, because it's her song. She's a musician. She might want to, change the EQ or something like that. And it was really cute when I showed it to her, because we just sort of laid in the bed, stuck it on the Alexa, and held hands while we listened. She laughed at all the right bits, so I got away with the jokes. And then she rolled over and paid me in 1,000 bisu. A week later, I sent it to my distributor, and I was ready to let everyone know how much of a softie I am. I hope you've enjoyed this behind the song. Every Night is available now on all good platforms and Spotify. And if you want to follow me, all my socials are on the screen now.